Nature is as breathtaking as it is terrifying. When it unleashes its full fury, cities can be wiped off the map in minutes, leaving behind only destruction and despair. Tsunamis and floods are among the most fearsome forces of nature, sweeping away everything in their path: homes, cars, roads, and even entire communities. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into some of the most devastating tsunamis and floods that have reshaped history. In 2011, Japan was hit by one of the scariest natural disasters ever: a 9.1 magnitude earthquake that caused a massive tsunami. Sendai people only had 8 minutes to get ready before a huge wave hit their city. Can you imagine? You have 8 minutes to get away from something that can't be stopped. A whole area was washed away by the tsunami, which also destroyed cars, homes, and even an airport. A scary film caught the wave as it smashed through Sendai Airport, quickly turning the whole area into an ocean. More than 15,000 people died. This tragedy also led to the Fukushima nuclear accident, which was one of the worst nuclear crises in history, when the power plant was flooded by the raging waves. Living near water might look like the perfect life, but when nature turns against you, it's not. Floods often come when you least expect them, and they can bring shocks. In a shocking event, floods in New Zealand swept away a whole train. Trains are huge, heavy machines that are supposed to stay on the tracks, but Mother Nature had other ideas. It was like a toy was being tossed around by the roaring water as the flash flood tore through the rails. When the water rushes in, not even homes are safe. An empty house in North Carolina was swept away by a storm like a leaf moving down a river. It's both strange and scary to see a full-sized house being swept away by floods. This is a stark warning that when nature takes back the land, no building is safe. The Philippines has been through many natural tragedies, but one stands out as being especially terrifying. During a strong typhoon, a town on the coast was hit by an unexpected tsunami. The huge wave hit land, destroying houses and everything in its path. As if the typhoon wasn't bad enough, it showed how cruel nature can be, killing people with 2 devastating blows.
15, 20 feet tall. Easy.
And if you believed bridges were flood-proof, think again. A Japanese bridge that was meant to be safe from tsunamis didn't stand a chance when nature unleashed its fury. When the wave hit the bridge, it was too strong to stop. In seconds, it was torn from its roots and swept away like a branch. The footage of this event is mind-blowing. The ocean's power was too strong for a structure that was built to resist nature's fury. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami was one of the worst catastrophes in recent times. A huge earthquake with a magnitude of 9.1 off the coast of Sumatra set off the tsunami, which hit the shores of 14 countries with waves as high as 100 feet high. The destruction was unimaginable. Over 230,000 people died. Whole towns were wiped off the map, and boats were pushed miles inland. The worst of the damage was done in the cities of Banda Aceh in Indonesia, the coastal towns of Thailand, and even remote parts of Sri Lanka and India. After a few minutes, the huge waves came back and ate everything in their way. The worst natural disasters the world has ever seen killed a lot of people. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more updates. Let's move on with our video. However, tsunamis aren't the only water-based tragedies that can kill a lot of people. Flash floods can be just as deadly. They can come out of nowhere and destroy towns in minutes. Kerala, India, had one of the worst storms in its history in 2018. Monsoon rains hit the area hard for days, flooding rivers and causing huge floods. When dams spilled, huge amounts of water rushed through towns and cities. More than 400 people died, and thousands more were stuck on roofs until relief helicopters arrived. Roads turned into raging rivers, and whole areas submerged. A lot of people lost their homes, power, and clean water because of the accident. China has also been hit by some very bad floods. At its worst, floods destroyed more than 1,300 homes in one case. The good news? Everyone got out in time, but the damage was shocking. Streets that were once full of people were now buried under murky water full of garbage. That scary event showed us that even though technology and planning can help, nature is sometimes just too strong to control. The 2013 floods in Europe were yet another devastating display of nature's wrath. In Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic, widespread flooding was caused by heavy rain. When the Danube River spilled, streets turned into waterways, and thousands of people had to leave their homes. Cities in Germany like Passau were flooded to the point where they had not been seen in over 500 years. Repairs cost billions of dollars and took months to finish. Videos showed cars floating down streets, old buildings falling, and people stuck on roofs while rescue boats tried to get through the water. One of the most terrifying aspects of floods is how rapidly they can transform a landscape. Quickly, basements become swimming pools, roads give way, and parks are submerged in water. New York City's subway stops were turned into underwater tunnels by the damage from Hurricane Ida. As the subway system flooded, commuters walked through waist-high water, desperately trying to get to safety. It looked like something from a horror movie. Sometimes flooding happens when buildings that were built by people fail under a lot of stress. In 1975, when the Bangkao Dam in China broke, it was one of the deadliest cases. Heavy rains from Typhoon Nina were too much for the dam to handle. A wall of water rushed downstream when the dam finally broke, destroying whole towns. It was one of the deadliest storms in history, killing more than 170,000 people. In the United States, the Mississippi River flooded in 1927 and forced more than 600,000 people to leave their homes. It was one of the worst storms in history. When it rained a lot, the river broke through its levees and flooded whole towns. People climbed up on roofs to get higher ground, as the dirty water ate everything. People could only get around on boats, and the government had to send out rescue teams to feed and house the people who were affected. The flood changed the way the U.S. dealt with disasters, which led to new rules on building levees and controlling flooding. Some of the most destructive floods in history have struck Pakistan. During one especially bad storm, water rushed through whole towns and lifted cars, trees, and even houses, as if they were not there. A video showed the moment when the strong river swept away a whole bus, which was bouncing like a toy in it. By some miracle, no one was inside at the time, but the video is a scary reminder of how powerful floods can be. Some towns that don't usually get flooded have had their fair share of emergencies. Las Vegas is known for having a dry desert temperature. A storm that came out of nowhere in 1999 dumped several inches of rain on the city in just a few hours, flooding the drainage system. This caused a terrible flash flood that hit casinos, parking lots, and roads. The famous Las Vegas Strip turned into a river, and cars washed away like toys. Death Valley in California is known for being dry and empty, but when it rained a lot, it was like a whole new world. An unusual storm dumped more than 6 months' worth of rain in just a few hours, turning the desert into a huge, dirty lake. Roads were washed away, leaving almost 1,000 people trapped. Rescue teams worked quickly to get everyone to safety. Floods and tsunamis remind us of how small we are in the face of nature's power. Despite all our technology and infrastructure, when the water comes rushing in, all we can do is try to survive. These disasters leave behind destruction, heartbreak, and unimaginable loss. But they also show us the strength of the human spirit.